Welcome back to another episode on Torque and Throttle, and today we'll bring you a full review on the 2025 BMW F800GS.
When BMW launched their new mid-range GS offerings last year, there was a lot of hype around the 900 GS. Rightly so, it had the biggest difference going from the 850 to the 900 with a lot more focus on the off-road side of things. We did a review on the F900. If you want to see that review, click over here.
But it is as if the 800GS disappeared from everybody's mind. Is there a good reason for it?
Or do we just need a good reminder?
We just want to give a big shout out to BMW Motorcycle Montana for lending this bike for us today. If you want really exceptional service, please go to them, tell them what you want and let them hook you up with the best ride of your life.
In the front, we've got a 19-inch rim, a 305mm dual discs with a 2-piston Brembo caliper. At the back, we've got a 265 disc with a single piston Brembo caliper. It's floating. On the engine front, we've got an 895cc motor, which is the same motor that we find in the 900 GS. However, this one has been detuned, giving us 64 kilowatt, 87 horses, and 91 Newton meters of torque. With a 6-speed gearbox and a very smooth quick shifter, we've got a load-bearing engine, steel construction bridge type frame. Suspension wise, we've got an aluminium dual swing arm connected to a Watt strut. Alright, then in the front we've got 41mm upside down telescopic forks, giving us 117 mils of travel. In the back it's also 170 mils of travel, not 117, 170. And in the front we can't change the dampening and so on electronically, but we can do that at the back. Then tank wise, we've got a 15-litre tank with a 4-litre reserve. Claim fuel consumption is at 4.1 per 100 kilometers and weighing in at 227 kgs.
My first impression of this bike, I really like what I see. This bike is really visually appealing, especially in the triple black, and we are so fortunate to have the triple black for the whole day. The 800 is a mid-weight motorcycle that shows a good balance between the rugged off-road experience, but at the same time shows modern styling. TFT screen is 6.5 inches. There is the typical BMW layout of switches and buttons. There is cruise control, options for different riding modes. The riding modes includes rain, road, dynamic, and enduro. At the front, we've got the new LED headlight. The design is sleek and symmetrical in comparison to the pre-2018 GS models. A noticeable change from the old to the new is the engine cover color. So the new model has a black cover, the previous model's got a silver cover. All right, let's move on to the seat. The standard seat height is 815 millimeters. You've got the option for a lowered suspension and different seat types. Depending on what you choose, the seat height can vary from 760 millimeters to 845 millimeters. Now, as we look at the seat, you can really see the padding is really thick and nice. It's very comfortable to ride on, and there's more than enough space for a pillion at the back so that both the rider and the pillion can have an enjoyable and comfortable ride. Lastly, but definitely not the least, you can choose between 3 colors in this model. It comes in black, blue, and white.
All right, road review for the F800GS. So yeah, obviously it got a bump up from the 750 GS. Back in the day, the smallest GS you could get was the 650. That became the 700, and later the 750. However, the 300 GS or the 310 GS was also introduced in the meantime. So not the smallest GS you can get anymore. However, the one step above the 310 and soon to be 450 GS. Like we said in the video, this one, it's kind of flying under the radar because it's engine sharing brother, which is obviously the full tuned one. That's because they have the same 895cc engine. This one is a little bit detuned, so its bigger brother is getting all the hype. But yeah, back when the 750 came on, I thought, you know, that's not a bad looking bike. And the 850, there was no big looks difference back in the day between the 850 and the 750. However, the 800 now kept that type of styling, and yeah, kept that type of styling, and the F900 got a whole new redesign, and obviously trying to make that bike the specialized off-roader between the parallel twin GS variants. On the looks front, one or two minor tweaks, but nothing major. So how does this still compare? For the mid-range adventure tourer, can do everything motorcycle, and I must say, first impressions is it can still do all that pretty fine. Power delivery is a little bit different than it used to be. There is clearly at 6,000 RPMs, you feel like it's going into its happy place, and above. But low down, there's still enough to play with. Right, we're in third. I'm not even turning it a whole lot, and it just goes. Normal things first. Comfort, I must say, very very comfortable. There is the, thank you, the seat is nice. It's a lot nicer than the previous, the previous gens, where you had that long, just flat, almost like a Tenere 700 seat. This is comfortable. You will be able to sit a good while on it. Yeah, it's your legs. There's a lot of room. I'm 178, and I'm almost flat fitting this. Standard seat height at 815 millimeters. You're a little bit more upright. You're not in the active position, but you're not too straight up. You're not like that. You're at least a little bit hunched over for, to feel that you are in control and the wind's not want to push you off the bike. And I must say they've done that. The standard screen on this isn't, let's say it can be classified as an excuse of a screen, but you can get a bunch of aftermarket ones, and as well as, let's go down, quick shifter, sorry, we're going to overtake, and there we go, and we're at 140. Back at 120. So just back at it. Yeah, and the screen of it is, you're getting, but your head's not buffering around. It's actually diverting the wind quite good. So if I put my hand up there, I almost feel nothing. Here I start feeling the wind. There I start to feel a lot, and most of it, you can see how my hand's trying to go, is coming from just past. It's like hitting the helmet over here, which is fine. Obviously, if you're going to put it on another screen, that's also going to help. But I must say, you're comfortable at the speed limit.
And even above that a little, you don't really feel too uncomfortable, because most of it is going over you. Then handling wise, I must say this is probably, the 900 handles extremely well. This handles just as good. I also feel this wants to go into the corners. It's very confident, inspiring when you're starting to lean. It doesn't feel like you have to drag the bike into a corner. It feels like you're really one with the bike when you're starting to lean. It's doing exactly what you want it to. So handling wise, I must say I'm very happy. Suspension is good. So the suspension, you can change it from dynamic to road to soften it up a little. Even in dynamic, I don't find it too uncomfortable. It's eating up the bumps. In road, obviously, you can feel that a little bit more of a spring. Then, so I must say, the suspension is nice. You do get active, dampening and preload settings on the rear one. You can adjust that electronically, so like you hit the suspension button, kicks up road, dyno, and then if you press it, if you hold it in, you can change it to, are you having a passenger, do you have luggage, and it will adjust the suspension for you, which is nice for a mid-range adventure bike at this price point. I do think that is very nice. Something you only saw, let's say, in the mid-2010s on the top of the line GS, the full spec GSs. But now you're finding it on the mid-range bikes, so that's quite nice. Then your riding mode, you select, press enduro, you close the throttle, it engage, and it'll change. Then you've got rain. Right, there we go. Road. So road is the more economic riding mode between all the riding modes. If you want to do longer distances and just be smooth, then road is the option. If you actually think that rain is the most fuel economic because it limits the power and so on. So but yeah, and then if you put it in dynamic, the throttle sharpens up. You feel the bike is alive. It wants to do it wants to respond on your every command. So yeah, I must say. And the interface, BMW is still, in my opinion, first in the market regarding, let's go sir, you and there, it's my turn. Yeah, number one in the market with their TFT displays. Quick shifter, smooth, you don't feel it at all. But back to the display, it's nice and bright. You've got the wheel here that will give you all that lets you go into the menu and select all kind of info that you need. You go to the side, on board, it's giving you so much info. The only drawback being that you obviously need to go through all the menus before it gives it. Like I must say, that was the nice thing on the DL650, was that, it may be an old screen and everything, but it's at one glance and you got everything that you need to know. Yeah, you have to go and find it a little, but it's the best layout out of all the manufacturers currently, in my opinion. Let's talk a little bit about the power. Like I said, it revs up at just past 9,000 RPM. At 6,000, you feel like it just wants to go. And then the quick shifter, there's just no lag. Brakes, while we're braking, it's not the highest spec brakes you'll find on any bike, but it does the job. I really don't feel that they're weird or they're fading. Look, it's not gonna break your neck, the speed, but for an 800, it really pulls enough. You don't need more than this. 0 to 100, you are fast enough that there's not a lot that's outriding you or accelerating you on the road. I must say, between this and let's say a 1200 Boxer and up, there would be a slight difference in the first 3 years where you can actually feel it. I know if we're going to time it, it's going to give you, say, half a second or whatever, but let's say what you actually feel, there's a slight difference in the acceleration. But where this is not, it's once it gets to 150 fast enough, plenty fast enough, it'll go 175, 180, but it's going to hit there. And from let's say 165 to 180, it's going to take you a while to tick the numbers up. So that's the only thing. But if you just want to cruise, it's going to do it. If you want to outsprint the traffic and go through traffic, this is going to do it. If you want to go and tour on it and your cruising speed is 140, it's going to do it. Flip, I'll drive this down to Cape Town and back without a problem. An idea? Yeah. And the power is there immediately. There's no lag. And because it's wide by wire, there's no play in the throttle. If you do this, look, the bike is just going from the first millimeter of turn. Let's do some lane splitting, and the bike is nice and tucked. It doesn't feel as wide. Obviously, if you'll put panniers on, you might feel that your see what I mean? No issue. Obviously you'll feel then you're a little bit wider, but as is, if nothing's on, yeah, you cut through traffic like nothing. Again, if you're not a hardcore off-road rider and you're looking for a mid-weight adventure bike that can handle the odd dirt road, you can ask yourself the question, is it really needed to pay more for the F800GS than this? And I would almost say you have to go and ride both for you to decide. Don't just do it off the spec sheet. I've ridden both and I do feel there's a place for both in the motorcycle world. Maybe not in your garage, so you're going to have to make the choice. But yeah, if you're the more road riding type of person and you want a smaller GS, but you don't want something that you 100% always going to have to stay on the tar, yeah, this is still a good option.
So Leandi, you had this in a little bit of twisties and you had it a little bit on the open road. What is your first impressions?
All right, so I just got from the 1200 GS onto this one, and I must tell you that even though the size of the bike is slightly different, I didn't feel less safe or less comfortable when I got on this bike. It was really, really nice, especially the quick shift. This is my first experience with the quick shift. However, it does boggle your mind a little bit to not use the clutch when you change the gears, but it was really, really awesome, and it will actually make you lazy, but I enjoyed that feature a lot. It's easy to handle, it accelerates very quickly. I'm a type of person that doesn't like a lot of pressure on my chest. I feel anxious because this screen isn't very high, so it doesn't stop a lot of wind. However, it wasn't as if the wind made me anxious on this bike. Only at the higher end of the speed could you feel that the pressure starts to increase. But no, it was really, really nice, easy to handle, didn't feel scared at all, especially when we moved into the parking lot. With the 1200, it does feel a little bit heavy and a little bit bulky, so you might feel anxious to handle a big bike in narrow spaces. However, with this bike, I really felt comfortable. I wasn't anxious. Yeah, it was really, really.
So if you have a husband that wants you to start riding a little bit of dirt roads, and the ladies tend to be a little bit
scared of the bigger models.
Big more on the heavyweight on unloose surfaces. If he buys you this one, would you say no?
No, I'll definitely not say no.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
No, it will be a yes. Like I said, it's not difficult to handle. It doesn't feel too heavy. Like you cannot handle the bike properly. So no, it's a definite yes for me.
And it's very pleasant in traffic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and especially the corners. If you don't have a lot of experience in cornering, you might feel anxious, nervous when corners approach. But with this one, it felt so natural to take the corners.
Okay, that's good. This is coming in at 230,000. Other competitors, let's say like Suzuki, they've got the DL800. That is coming in around 215. So I would say you can pick a few points where the one you like this on the one and this on the other one. However, I do feel this is a good contender.
Yeah.
And like we said in the beginning of the video, it's almost like everybody forgot of the 800. And I must say, it's still a very, very good, competent mid-range adventure
Definitely.
tourer.
It still looks good.
It still
Feels
looks
good.
100%.
Yeah.
It's still got all the BMW fancy nice things to have.
Yeah.
And the only place where you're gonna feel you don't have enough, if I can put it like that, is in like the higher speeds. Is above.
Yeah. Way above.
Way above the speed limits. Yeah. Way above the speed limit. So there you feel you start running out of juice. But other than that, it pulls enough for me to make it a good all-rounder. If you don't want a heavy touring bike, but you want something that you can do, your coffee shop run, your little bit of off-roading, maybe not as capable as a 900 because that's basically been redesigned to go for off-road type of things. But this you can still do it. And I would say it's a very, very good all-rounder without necessarily breaking the bank.
Yeah.
It is.
And the triple black really is so pretty.
Yeah.
So you get, like I said, you get the comfort, you get the style, you get the off-road, everything that you need. It's like a complete package.
100%. And you can find some of these online, second-hand, and so on, for ranging about 185 thereabout. So which is a significant price drop from the 900GS. So I do think that you can find this one for maybe, let's say, 30 to 50k less than you would do on the 900GS currently at the moment. Obviously that will change over time, and people are more likely to have used this more on the road than when they have a 900GS now. They've most probably bought that to go off-roading. So I would say second-hand, this would be a very, very attractive option. You're going to get with low mileage. And just in general, if you're looking for something brand spanking new,
This is not bad.
It's not bad. It must be in your shortlist.
Definitely. Or if it's your first bike. Don't start too small because you'll end up in a few months actually, up to a year, max a year, to go and exchange it for something else. So this is a very good option, even if you buy a first bike.
100%. I completely agree.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Put your comments below so that YouTube can push out this video to a wider audience. And we thank everyone that has been watching Talk and Throttle and enjoying our reviews. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one. At Propulsio Brokerworks, we don't just offer financial advice. We protect what matters and help your money grow. From short-term insurance that keeps your assets safe to business cover that protects your livelihood, we've got you covered. Add expert investment and retirement planning, and you get one trusted partner for every single stage of life and business. Propulsio Brokerworks, financial clarity, real protection, real results. Visit propulsio.co.za or call us today.